Labour MP Barry Gardiner is facing major backlash after appearing to downplay concerns about migrant crime in the UK. In a recent interview, Gardiner suggested that the number of foreign nationals in British prisons simply reflects their share of the overall population, as though that somehow makes it acceptable. But the reality is stark. Around 12% of the UK's prison population is foreign-born. That's not a small figure. It raises real questions about border control, criminal justice, and national security. Instead of treating this as a serious issue, Gardiner's comments seem to normalize it, as if criminality among migrants is just an expected part of modern Britain. That's not leadership. That's denial. When politicians begin to downplay crime or excuse it for fear of causing offense, they abandon their duty to protect the public. Those who come to this country are guests, and with that comes responsibility. If you break the law here, you forfeit the right to stay here. It's as simple as that. British taxpayers should not be paying for the imprisonment, meals, legal aid, and rehabilitation of those who have shown nothing but contempt for the laws of this nation. A strong, fair country must always put the safety of its citizens first. This is not about race or background. It's about principle, about defending the rule of law and protecting the integrity of the nation. In the interview, Gardiner was pressed on the figures. He was asked directly whether it was true that 12% of prisoners are immigrants, and whether that reflects the proportion of migrants in the population. Instead of answering, he deflected. He brought up outdated economic claims from the Office for Budget Responsibility, even though those calculations have since been withdrawn. It was a revealing moment, one that showed just how out of touch some in Westminster have become. Barry Gardiner's remarks are a reminder of what happens when political correctness overtakes common sense. They send a dangerous message that the rights of foreign offenders matter more than the safety of British communities. A country that cannot deport those who break its laws is a country that's lost control of its borders and its priorities. Migrants who commit serious crimes should lose the right to remain. Anything less is a betrayal of the public's trust. And as if that weren't enough controversy for Labour, the government now faces growing anger over the National Grooming Gang's inquiry. 2 survivors, Fiona Goddard and Ellie Reynolds, have resigned from the inquiry panel, saying their voices were being ignored. A 3rd survivor, known as Elizabeth, has also stepped down, citing a lack of genuine understanding from the government. These resignations have led many to suspect that the Labour government is deliberately stalling the inquiry, possibly to delay it until after the next election. It has been more than 4 months since Sir Keir Starmer promised a full national investigation, yet there is still no timeline, no chairperson, and no progress. Even Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch has called on the government to scrap the current process entirely and replace it with a proper judge-led inquiry with full statutory powers. In Parliament, Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips faced heavy criticism after claiming that no time was being wasted, despite clear evidence to the contrary. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp reminded MPs that this scandal was covered up for years because officials were too afraid to act, fearing accusations of racism. Downing Street insists the inquiry is not in crisis and remains committed to justice. But for many survivors, those words feel hollow. Whether it's crime, immigration, or the grooming gang scandal, the public is demanding the same thing: truth, accountability, and real leadership. Because a government that refuses to confront uncomfortable facts isn't protecting anyone.